Warming up, warming up, warming up. Listen to my radio voice. It's made for radio. So is my face. Ha ha ha. Hey, and welcome back. We got one more Soul Reaver thing for you, and it's I love this so much that I wanted to make a whole episode out of it. So, we talked about this briefly in our 6 cool things about the Soul Reaver Remastered video, but I want to take a little bit more time and go more in depth here. So, go to bonus content and go to the Lost Levels. And you'll see this really, really nice introduction by Ben Lincoln here. Ben, of course, is one of the pillars of the community that I've mentioned before on the channel. He's the creator of the lostworlds.net, which is an invaluable resource if you're interested in anything Legacy of Kain. He has many, many, many videos about the cut content and how it would have all fit together on his channel, so go check that out. In this introduction, he talks about how these museum levels are built from material preserved during the original development, which is rarely, very rarely the case that the companies hang on to this stuff. So I think it's fantastic that we're going to get to wander around it. When I had my first broadband connection and downloading stuff wasn't really a problem for the first time, I just started looking into all kinds of things I was interested in, and I was looking into the cut content of Soul Reaver. People like Ben Lincoln and Raina Audrin and Baziellum, I was just fascinated by the work that they were doing. One of my earliest memories when I had that connection was learning how to dig into the audio files on the original PS1 disc and extract the cut voice lines. I've done that again recently, and as we go through these, I'll play them for you. Now, I could reconstruct these scenes, but that's already been done. Baziellum on the Ancient's Den, in addition to producing a great video about this content as well, has also reconstructed some of these cutscenes inside that video. Go check out his video about the Lost Levels if you want the most complete information and those cutscene reconstructions. I'll just kind of pepper these voice lines in and some music where there's not music, and we'll just have some fun with it. Okay, so let's go check out the Undercity.
Return to the human citadel, Raziel. The temple, despite its innocuous facade, is rotten to its core, and like a cancer, spreads its corruption throughout the city.
The area where you find the drowned Dumahim in one of the city areas originally would have led to this area here, which is this tall chamber with lots of kind of bridges and corridors and whatnot. So we're going to shift material, which we can shift at any time in these museum levels, which is really nice. And that's another thing too with these levels. They're playable. You can walk around them. Some of the puzzles work, but they are museum levels. There are some bugs. Sometimes you'll get stuck, which is why we have the reset position button, which is going to be L1. And they're not complete, which obviously, they weren't finished. The fact that we have them at all is just incredibly, incredibly cool.
Mysterious figures moved under cover of darkness, their robes betraying occult intent. This temple seemed to be a source of contagion. I would find a way to infiltrate this vampire lair. I watched unseen as shadowy figures slipped down the temple walls. The city slumbered, oblivious to the danger creeping just outside.
We find this little bit of water. Now let's go exploring. We'll go left. This would take us to the warp gate, which kind of has an inverted symbol for the human citadel there, which makes sense because this is the Undercity. Of course, the Undercity is always going to make me think of World of Warcraft and the 6 months I've wasted of my life to that game. Thanks, Josh. Just kidding, brother. I love you. You know that. Okay. Ah, yep, here we go. Open this guy. And that, as we'll see, raises the water level. And that block holds it in place. Okay, now that water level's come up a little bit, we'll go do some more exploring. So the idea was, you do a number of these puzzles, and it would raise the water level in the central chamber. Now, we can't quite get back to where we need to be. This doesn't look like it. So we'll just use the reset. Boom, there we go. This corridor. Will take us over here. You know, look around. There's a lever. Now, you don't get a cutscene, but as long as you hold the lever, it does raise the water. You'll notice this guy cuts up there without moving. But if you let go of it for long enough, you'll see the water level drop. And magically, it's back there. So the way that we hold this, so the way we hold the water level is, of course, we open it up. There's this block handily placed right here. Lazy style. And we'll just put it in position. We'll raise the water level again, as you can kind of see over there. There. And now that will hold. Then up here is another puzzle. And this part is not finished enough for us to really do anything, but we'll do a bit of exploring. Yeah, you can kind of see some buggy stuff going on here. And we can kind of, yeah, there we go, we can clip through. And then this block could be pushed down here. But for our purposes now, we don't need it. There is more to this puzzle, but watch Bazielm's video for that. But yeah, once we've raised the water level there, now we're getting into the buggy stuff. So we'll jump in. There we go. And we'll swim back. And this, for the museum level, is kind of where we stop. At least in terms of solving puzzles and playing it the way it was meant to be played. Now, here's something fun. Did you know that Soul Reaver Remastered has a photo mode? For a good time, just click the sticks in. But the very useful thing about this photo mode, other than being able to take cool pictures, is you can use it to explore the environment a little bit. So if we look for somewhere to get up on, or at least jump a bit. We can fly around this chamber a little bit and see where we were supposed to go. Here we go. The range is limited, of course, but it's very useful as an exploration tool, especially in these lost levels. Oh, there's a bird just kind of hanging out down here too. Okay, and so now that we can kind of see where it connected, we'll exit out and go to the Priestess's boss room. And magically, we're up here now.
Heretic, welcome to your undoing. Your sorcery is useless in this holy place.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Faith? Faith left you when you were excommunicated by our Lord Kain.
I was executed, not excommunicated. You will learn the difference.
So behind these doors, you would have enemies who would pop out, and the priestess would control them. And then after you beat them, you'd be able to climb this wall, and we can kind of hear some human enemies in there too. Hey, what's up? Come here often?
Your faith has failed you. Where are your precious vampires now? Where is your holy Kain?
You are the one who has betrayed his faith, his brethren, his creator. I have served my gods.
And now, you will meet them.
And then here's an interesting thing. You'll notice that she has some Vampire Clan tattoos, and that is what I'm looking at. Nothing else. So she's got the Doom of Him tattoo here. You can see Zephon on her shoulders there. Zephon and Turel on her shoulders. You can see Rahab and Melchiah there. And Duma too. And here's an interesting thing. Raziel symbol too. She's got a Raziel tramp stamp. Oh, that's probably not cool to say anymore. But I just find that super interesting. Now, something I don't see, unless it's on her stretched across her arms there, is the Kain symbol. Anyway, super interesting. After you beat her minions, it wasn't a super difficult fight. Oh.
No! Master.
There we go.
In her long service to her vampire masters, the priestess had learned a measure of sorcery. In devouring her soul, this power is conferred on you. You may project your spirit, and in so doing, take possession of your victim's body.
Possession was a callback to the Control Mind spell in Blood Omen 1. And the content of Soul Reaver actually had a few puzzles where you would have to possess an enemy in order to progress. Even had some callbacks to sacrificing humans to the Spirit Forges, which, as you all know, is sadistic and hilarious. And then, if we do a little bit more exploring up here, the path back to the city would have been over there. So yeah, pretty cool, right? All right. Next, we're going to check out the Smokestack. This would have been in the Northern Canyon, north of the ruined city, instead of the Oracle's Cave. The Oracle's Cave would have originally been accessed through Dumas area.
Kain has withdrawn to his mountain retreat. Your only means of reaching him cuts straight through the lair of your brother, Turel.
As you came in, you notice these openings above this big orrery type thing. Above this big mechanism here. Now the smokestack is a huge area. And the cool thing is, there's a lot to do in this museum level. We've got lava, which definitely would have hurt us, but doesn't now. And this one actually has some Turel that we can fight. Yeah, we probably don't want to go down in that lava. And one thing that's important to note about these levels is when you walk around them, really take time and try to explore everything. A lot of the solutions to puzzles are very easy to miss, so you might get stuck and think that there's nothing left to do in these because they're museum levels, but the smokestack in particular has a lot to do. So you'll notice here that 2 doors have opened. Got this door, which leads further into the level, and then this door, which will lead back to kind of this mechanism. Now, if we come down here, see a door that's not going to open for us. But, and then if we go down here, a blocked passage, which we can't really do anything with. But, if you come to this door, and push the reset position button, which is L1, that will take you inside here. And the idea is you would spin these dials with constrict, and then that would activate part of this mechanism. Now, the problem is in the museum levels, if you get in here, you can't get out. Or at least there's not a way that I've figured out where you can get out. So pretty much after that, you've got to go back to the interior point here. But once we do, we can keep exploring. So we'll open this, jump over, and get deeper into the level. This will take us to Turel's audience chamber, which we'll look at in a little bit here. Some missing textures, but hey, it's still climbable. Jump over. You see a big metal door on the right. Well, Turel's all about telekinesis, and we've had telekinesis for a bit, so boom, ta-da. We'll need to get over there, but we can't quite reach it from that platform. That's okay. Stands to reason that there'd be Turel in Turel's clan territory. And I just want to mention again just how cool it is that these have been restored and that we can play them, see them at all. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I've been fascinated with this stuff for almost 3 decades, and to be able to just wander around and check stuff out is so cool, let alone to be able to actually complete some puzzles and do some stuff. It's just awesome. And then before we progress here, there is actually another passage. That will take us up into here. Now, so far as I've been able to tell, the puzzles in this room don't work. And that's okay. I'm going to take care of this Turel for us in just a second here. Actually, I will just fall and reset. And again. That reset button is super handy. Okay. And what you would do here is you would pull this lever. And hit this crank. And this room would fill with water. Why? I'll tell you in a little bit. But for now, we're going to go back. So if you've played these Lost levels, what was your favorite part? What were you the most excited to explore? Let me know in the comments. Alright, now we're going to fly through our open doors here. And move on to the next part. And open another set of doors and the path to the next dial. And we've got a little chamber here with water at the bottom, and then a little valve here. And some baby Turel, or I should say some metamorphosizing Turel, which apparently are sleeping very deeply because they're not aggroing, so we'll take that as a win and move on. Alright, come up here and hit the third switch. This would take you to the last dial. Then with all of those dials open, you would be able to get to the door to Turel's audience chamber would be open. But since we can't turn those dials, we'll have to do this instead.
Though the room seemed vacant, these banners clearly identified it as Turel's audience chamber.
hey. Oh, I haven't seen this. It's the original Turel.
Leaving so soon, brother?
Let me pass, Turel. I've enough blood on my hands today. My quarrel lies with Kain.
Poor Raziel. Your rage blinds you to the bond of gratitude that we owe our master.
Gratitude? Toward one who would have you grovel at his gate like a dog? You once had noble aspirations, Turel. Now, how humbled are your goals? Do you prosper on the scraps he casts you?
Recognize that line?
Your insults will do nothing to blunt the agonies of your demise.
And that one from Tomb
You
Guardian.
killed me once. Behold the result. I have no more to fear from you.
See, very important difference in that line. He says, you killed me once. I have nothing more to fear from you. Do we actually get to do the fight? Oh my gosh, we get to do the fight! I cannot believe, I haven't even heard about this. He's just having a great laugh. Okay, well, we can't really do the fight. Ben from the future here. Actually, you can, to a point. Now, the trick is, he doesn't aggro every time you load in. So, if he's not hostile, if he's not attacking you, just quit. Start again. Skip the cutscene. Watch it once at least. And you might have to do that a couple of times. Now you might have to quit the game entirely. And then load it back up again. There we go. That's what we want. See, he'll start shooting projectiles at you. And remember, the whole thing with Turel is telekinesis. And you can absorb. Check that out. So the idea was, you'd block his projectile with your own, and then absorb it with a Reaver. And you'd get a temporary amplified telekinesis. And you could use that to break the pillars. And then open the door.
Try my patience, Raziel.
And the idea in here was that you would goad Turel into hitting these pillars. He's not super impressed with the Reaver. And then once you've hit them all, that reservoir that we filled up earlier would drain into here. And you get this delightful little line.
I smell water. Tell me, have you, like Rahab, learned to swim in all these eons?
Yep, there's our sassy Raz. And then, after you beat Turel, the blades would start spinning. And you could glide up the Smokestack, which we don't really get to see much of here, but in Bazielam's video, he shows that a lot better.
This smokestack will permit your ascent to the summit of Kain's mountain sanctuary.
So the smokestack would let out here, and then you could jump over. Yeah, recognize this. And then this door would not open until you had all the elemental reavers. So the fire reaver actually did have a purpose, along with the other reavers that you could get. here is the warp gate, of course. And something I've always found interesting, not just about this warp gate, but the symbol on the floor outside, which is, check that out. So that has just the single tail instead of the split tail that we see in lots of other instances of that symbol. But yeah, recognize that. And this is where Raziel has his vision. Let me in. Not today, I guess. And then, because we don't have the elemental reavers, we're gonna have to skip ahead. Yeah, look at this. Isn't that cool? Some of this stuff we see kind of scattered around the game, but I just think it's so awesome. Oh, okay, now the door's open. Okay, I'll stay inside. See all these just awesome textures. This is where the final battle with Kain would have taken place, the third and final battle. He would have run away from the chronoplast and not stepped into the time stream like he did at the end of the canon ending. And he would have come here. Yeah, check this stuff out. See, the winged, the angelic figure we see there that I observed looks kind of like Raziel. Yeah, it's back here again. And of course, we've got some just really cool artwork up there. And Kain's throne. Anything behind it? No, there's not. If we go spectral. Can we sit? Kind of. Not really. We can kneel down on his throne. We can't really sit on his throne. Now, you'll see around the room there's a bell, there's a couple bells, there's a couple of torches, and something that could be a fountain here, and then his throne. Ostensibly made of stone. The idea for this fight would have been you would have had to imbue the Reaver with all of its elemental powers in order to defeat Kain. But then once you had, this scene would have played.
My wayward son returns. You have your father in you after all.
My father? You're nothing but a grave robber, Kain.
True enough.
I thought I understood you, Kain. That your jealous hatred was the root of the wounds you inflicted. But this genocide of your own kind is unconscionable.
You and I have both been to Mobius's chamber, Raziel. The future has always been written. You've served me well. Even now you fail to disappoint. Shall we see if you pass the final test?
Raziel,
I am your only hope. Only my spirit can empower the Soul Reaver to destroy Kain and restore balance to Nosgoth. You know this is true.
What game are you playing, Kain?
No game, Raziel.
Listen to her, Raziel. Strike me down if you can, but without her essence, the blow will barely sting.
More of your lies.
Only truth. Believe me, Raziel. Believe.
Do you have the will to do it, Raziel? Could it be, after all your posturing, you do not possess the resolve for this final act? Can you have come this far, only to fail now?
Such a dire fate. Their souls commingling, fettered eternally, just as Kain's refusal had bound them together centuries before.
By consuming Ariel and then Kain's souls, you'd then get the Amplified Reaver. When I loaded this up for the first time last year, I was just completely flabbergasted and just felt like it was a dream come true, you know. Getting to explore these areas I'd heard about for so long and, you know, just never thought I'd ever actually get to see them. Nope, I fell for that once. Oh yeah, check this out. Remember these? Some of our vampire worshiper murals from the Silence Cathedral. And this takes us to the pinnacle. The final area would have been the pinnacle of the Silence Cathedral.
From this summit, the pinnacle of the silenced cathedral is within your reach. Hurry, Raziel. With the Soul Reaver thus enhanced, no obstacle can thwart your progress, no enemy obstruct your path. But take heed. The vampires of this world can sense your intentions and will hound you in their desperate fury.
We can kind of see a little bit of the cathedral walls there.
As they swarmed after me, I felt the terror that must have filled their wizened hearts. They knew what I had to do here, that it would spell their downfall, and that I too might perish in the very act. This tower had stood too long as a grotesque symbol of Kain's perverse intent. The time was ripe, indeed past due, for me to exploit my newborn talents and send a hymn of death across this land. Enough to banish sanity. Enough to set the children of the night plucking at their eyes, tearing open their own throats. Enough to destroy every vampiric creature on the face of this bruised and bleeding land. My goal was within reach. All that remained was to open each and every sounding pipe.
It is done, Raziel. Your destiny is fulfilled. Though you have destroyed every creature who might call you kin, the world is born anew. The cycle of birth and death, stalled and stagnant these long years, once again begins to flow. You have done well, my servant.
If you want to see more of this, again, the Ancient's Den. And then the Reaver Forges. Soul Reaver was originally designed with 6 elemental enhancements for the Reaver. In addition to fire, Raziel would have discovered forges allowing him to imbue the weapon with sunlight, water, stone, sound, and spirit energy, using environmental sources scattered throughout the game world. We've talked about this a little bit. Let's check them out real quick. So this is the Water Forge, and this is originally what was under the Drowned Abbey, not the Fire Forge, which this makes way more sense. Oh, we can imbue, well, kind of imbue it. There's the animation. But yeah. For the best information on this, definitely check out Ben Lincoln's video on the deleted glyphs and spirit and forges here. So this one looks very empty. That's the Sound Forge. The funny thing is back in the day, I was first messing around with a program called Sound Forge. Some of my first editing experiments, or at least digital editing experiments. This is the Sunlight Forge. Nice. The Fire Forge, of course, we know, but it was a little different. This looks like Raziel's clan territory is where we would have found this. And then the Spirit Forge, which would have been in the Human Citadel. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure I want to stick my Reaver in that. But yes, this is where you would have gotten the Spirit Reaver. And the Spirit Reaver and the deleted Spirit Glyph spell would have had effects that allowed you to either insta-kill an enemy, in the Reaver's case, or suck all the souls in the vicinity. And then also, this is really, really, really cool. There's also the E3 1998 demo. Now, I'm not going to walk you through this because I don't know it as well, and there's a much, much, much better video that you can watch on the subject, and that's from Baziellum at the Ancient's Den. Follow the link in the description and on the card here. It shows how the game world had been not just laid out differently, but laid out specifically for these demos, for these purposes. And it's just really, really interesting to think about the paths that are kind of forged and seared in our brains, how they're different, how they're so mutable in game development. It's great, and the Ancient's Den are the experts. If you have Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered, check these out. Wander around, take the time, look around yourself. Really, really cool stuff here for those of you who are into the cut content like I am. Thanks for watching, and next time we start Soul Reaver 2. If you like what you see and you want to see more, do the things.